Hey guys, happy Monday. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to go over kind of what I'm reading. Today's been kind of busy. It's already 4:10. I started my new job today, and so there was like some trainings and orientation. It's all remote, and so I had to go get my equipment and like just sort of figure out that whole thing. So definitely weird to be starting a new position outside of a school building. Definitely weird not to have my usual team with me, and definitely weird to not really know what to expect. And so this is a journey, but it's great. Okay, so I am reading. I got it on Saturday. No, I got it yesterday. The Inheritance Games. You see, I was reading it at night with my little book light. So far, it is really good. There's a book that we used to read. I used to read with my fifth graders. When I think of the name, I'll say it in the next clip. But it's starting out good. I'm on page about 50. And we have everybody gathered at the deceased house. And they're reading the will. And they just found out that our main character has gotten everything. So they're trying to figure out who she is and why she got everything in their grandfather's will. Other than that, I want to get to the Julianne Lindsay book that I had on my list last week. And then I started Harry Potter on audio, Order of the Phoenix. I took a little break because I'm rereading the series all on audio, but Goblet of Fire took a very long time, took almost a whole month to listen to it, because I really only listened to it to and from my old job, which is about 20 minutes one way. So I wasn't getting very far each day. And I got through 7 chapters. And again, I listen to audiobooks at like a 1.7 speed. So we'll see how it goes, but that's what I'm starting off the week with. Hey guys, and happy Tuesday. Today I'm hopping on real quick to sort of give you an update on my reading. So as I mentioned in the last clip, I'm reading mainly 2 books, mostly one, but it is The Inheritance Games. This book is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I didn't read that much yesterday, but I'm on page 68, so about 20 pages yesterday. This book is so far really, really good. So let me just give you a little bit about what's happening. First of all, I love that the chapters are very short. They're like 2 or 3 pages per chapter. So for me, I love a short chapter because I feel like I'm getting through, even though if there's a lot of chapters. And so that speaks to me. Yeah, there's how many chapters in this book? There's a preview at the end of the last... There's 91 chapters in this book, so that doesn't bother me so much because the chapters are short. But yeah, so here's what's going on. So our main character is Avery. Avery is just like a so-so student in high school. She lives with her sister. Her mom has passed away, and her sister's no good boyfriend lives with them on and off. Anyway, he's moving back in with them. And she's not popular at school. She's kind of like in the shadows, really invisible. But she plays chess with this old guy in the park. And so I feel like that's important to note. I think that's going to lead to something. I don't know yet if it does. I just feel like it will. And so she gets a visit she gets a notice that she has to go down to Texas to hear the reading of somebody's will. One of the lawyers, he says, is coming to fetch her. I guess she's received many notices, the sister has, and saying that she had to come listen to this inheritance of the will, but the sister thought it was fake, so she didn't tell her. So they came and get her, and they go down, listen to the will reading. And the people that are there, it's a huge mansion, so there's some employees that are there at the will reading, and then there are her grandkids, or his grandkids, and actual children. And excuse me. And what happens is, there's a couple that's like his employee that gets a large sum of money. His security detail gets a large sum of money. the kids get like barely anything in comparison, and then the rest of everything of the estate is left to Avery. Well, Avery has no idea who this guy is and why he would leave everything to her. Houses, cars, planes, helicopters, everything. But she has to live in it's the Hawthorne, so she has to live in the Hawthorne house. And clearly everybody's upset about her getting this inheritance. And so where I'm at right now is that it's like the day after her sister is leaving. She left to go get some of Avery's things, and now she is trying to get settled into the house. Now there's 3 grandsons, Jameson, Grayson, and Nash. And Grayson's the worst of them. Jameson's kind of like on his own planet, and Nash seems helpful but sneaky. And so we will see kind of like where this plays out. Jameson did not go to the reading of the will. Well, they were waiting for him, and Avery found him in the garden. Or no, she found him on the roof, sorry. And he came in, but she has gotten a nickname from him, Mystery Girl, or MG. And he gave her her first test, which was part of the will says she had to get all of the keys to the house, or a key to the house. And he gave her over 100 keys, and she had to figure out which key was it to get into the front door, and she did figure it out. So now he feels like she's pretty smart. But we'll see how it unfolds. I am really liking it. It doesn't sound like, just hearing me say it doesn't sound like it's super interesting, but it actually really is. And I want to see what the relationships turn out to be. I guess there's something between Nash and one of the lawyers at the law firm that the will was written out of. And then it seems like Avery might have a crush on Grayson or Jameson. So we'll see if there's any elements there, but that's kind of where we are at the moment. So that's really been my focus. Like I said, yesterday was the first day of my new position. So I was pretty wiped out at the end of the day. Just like mentally, you know, like when you start a new position, like there's all of this lead up and excitement, and you feel all that, and then you're just kind of like at the end of the day. So I really passed out like at 8:50 last night, and that was that. So I'm going to continue to read some of this today, and then I haven't started the Julianne Lindsay book, which it's a library book, and they only give us 3 weeks. So I need to start that. Once I get into it, it'll go pretty fast, but I kind of want to stay stuck in this world. So that's where I am right now. Hey guys, and welcome to Wednesday. So today's been kind of a busy day with work, but I have been getting into a new book. So the book that I'm reading is Boyfriend Lessons. I'm also still reading Inheritance Games, but this one is kind of quick and light, and so I wanted to add that in while I'm reading Inheritance Games, because Inheritance Games is kind of a puzzle, and so I want to have time to figure that out. Anyway, Boyfriend Lessons is a Harlequin book. I do subscribe to Harlequin and get books monthly. I have decided to get the Desire books because they're romance and they've got a little bit extra in them, so I like that. And this book is really good so far. It is by Sophia Singh Sasson. Anyways, the book is about a girl, Caitlin, who is out of a relationship for a while, but she hasn't dated in a while because she feels nervous around guys. So she decides, or her friend decides to say, maybe you should get a boyfriend to like take you out and just like give you like lessons on how to be around a guy. Caitlin comes from, well, she's adopted into a very rich family. So she has like a very public appearance she has to uphold. And her friend wants her to have the boyfriend lessons with her friend's brother. But her friend's brother, on the day they're supposed to meet, brings a friend, Dev, and then Dev and Caitlin end up liking each other, and she's been drinking, and she asks him just straight out, will you give me boyfriend lessons? That's not like her to do. So that happens. So there is some really good parts in here though. So she's biracial, she's white and black again, but she's adopted into a family. The town is sort of like old money town, so she's been dealing with like what is her identity, and you know, what does that look like for her. They have little blurbs from her ex-boyfriend, He says some really cruel things to her about her race and her place in the city. And she's kind of been shaking him off right now, so I'm wondering if she's going to start diving deeper into that. And then Dev is Indian, and his family is very traditional. And we just found out that, well, he told his mom that he was dating her and showed her a picture. And she thought Caitlin was beautiful, but couldn't pinpoint her ethnicity or her race. And so Dev said that she was biracial, black and white. And the mom was like, well, she's great to have fun with, but you can't marry her. And so her friend Alice is the one who tried to hook her up with her brother Russ. Well, Alice says that she knows for a fact that Dev cannot marry outside of the Indian culture. And so Caitlin kind of shook it off for the moment, but she's struggling because she hasn't opened up to anybody since her last boyfriend. And so that's kind of where I left off. So it's pretty good. These books are really short. They're like 215 pages-ish. So on page 100, I have not abandoned Inheritance Games. I'm going back and forth. So I'm going to read a little bit more of this, and I'm going to pick up Inheritance Games for the night. It's still good. Lots of puzzles, lots of in and out and weaving, trying to figure out whose side everybody's on, which I really like. And I'm really excited to get into that series too. So that is what has been up for Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Good morning and happy Thursday. So it is about 10:30 in the morning, getting some things done, taking a quick break. I read more last night of Inheritance Games. Again, it's getting really good. And I wanted to show you something that I purchased from TikTok, but I really like them, so let me show you. All right, so there is a website called My Secret Copy. Actually, I don't know if it's a website or an Etsy shop. I'll link it down below. But she makes these really cute magnetic bookmarks, and then she makes like magnetic things for like your book cart. And so I picked up this cute, I love the Arthur theme, and they were sold out for a while. So I'm gonna do this one-handed. So when they got back in stock, I was all over it. Sorry for the tinkling. Okay, so this one is a magnet, and it goes on the cart for my books, which is over there. So I will put that on that today. And then I picked up 3 magnets. First is the Arthur Library card. Next, this was so nostalgic, the Public Library Enthusiast. And it's got such a solid magnet to it. So very nice and very good cardstock. I love her logo too. It's not, it's something that I don't mind being seen. It's really nice. And then, the book that I'm reading now, but I got this bookmark, Romance Book Club. Oops. And I just love it. So I think she's a great shop. Reasonable prices. Shipping's a little bit long, but it's just her, and I think she's really blown up, so I'm not going to be mad about it. But I highly recommend these. Super cute, great designs, very sturdy. Hey guys, today is Friday. Oh, I'm knocking things over. Jumping on before I start my work day. Okay, so I'm so excited. I finished 2 books yesterday, so let me show you. And I have lots to say, so I tried to prop you up a little bit because there's lots to say. All right, so first I finished Boyfriend Lessons. This is by Sophia Singh Sasson. And this is from the Texas Gentlemen's Club line. And it is a Desire book. So I do have a membership with Harlequin, and I signed up for the Desire books, and so I get them monthly. This one was really good. I picked it up because I was kind of not in a slump, but I just wanted to read something light. And so this book actually was really good. So I kind of talked about it in other clips, but basically our main character, Caitlin, is having trouble finding a boyfriend. She's part of this Lattimore family, which is a prominent African-American family in Texas. They're dealing with, on the side, some legal stuff with their mansion and land, but she's trying to find somebody to date, or at least find somebody to teach her how to date. She meets Dev. He's brought to a dinner with her best friend and her best friend's brother. Her brother Russ brings Dev. Dev and Caitlin hit it off right away, and they decide that Dev will give her boyfriend lessons. As we know, it turns into romance. It's really like an instant love. So it was like 0 to 100. I don't know how I felt about that. I feel like there wasn't a lot of lead up time. This is a shorter book though, so it's like how much lead up time can you give? But they did the normal romance pattern, right? They got together, then they broke apart for a second, and they ended up together. At the end, they do become engaged very quickly. But something that I was not expecting in this book was the dynamic of race and the conversation around what that looks like in families. So Caitlin, I believe she's adopted to the Lattimore family, but she is biracial. She's black and white, and so she's having a hard time, or had a hard time, figuring out how she identified herself. At the end, she just said she identifies as black. And Dev is Indian, and he has a very traditional background, and so dating Caitlin, Dev's mom and dad think that she's like a escort, think that she's not good enough for him, and he really has to like prove to himself that he doesn't care about their opinion. But it really addressed race in a great way, very timely for things that we go through in our country. This was written in, I want to see what year. Yeah, it's 2022, so I think it was appropriate. One thing that threw me off, and I talked about this in the last clip about her boyfriend and how her ex-boyfriend Jax, he used to say these little comments. Well, come to find out, the reason that Jax and her broke up was because originally they were friends, and living in the city she was living in, they were one of the only few black families. And so in my head, I read it as Jax being white. And so when he was saying these comments about like her place in the town and like recognize like your blackness and all that, I was like, this is like a lot. But Jax is actually black too, and her father actually paid Jax's way through private school and college so that he would be her friend. And she ended up falling in love with him. And so when he pulled away, it was really because like his job was done and he wasn't being malicious. It's just that wasn't his feeling. So I thought that was kind of a weird twist, but very good book. All right, so then I finished last night, late last night, not late, 9:30ish, The Inheritance Games. Okay, when I was almost done with this, I told my husband, I said, I don't even know how I'm going to explain this book because literally so much happens. Yesterday too on Instagram, I saw somebody had posted like, make sure you have book 2 ready to go because you're going to want it. Okay, book 2 doesn't come out until August. So like, what is happening? But this book is really, really good. So it was described to me the way I read it as it was gonna be sort of like Hunger Games in the house, right? Like this girl from nothing gets this huge inheritance. The grandsons feel slighted, family members feel slighted, and now they put her through the paces to survive living in this house. And it's not necessarily like that. The games they talk about are basically mind games, right? And so everything in the house is a puzzle or a riddle, something you have to figure out. And so it's very mental, and it's not very violent or physical or anything like that. I mean, there was one attempt on her life, and she didn't get shot or anything, but pieces of bark fell off a tree and impaled her. But it's like hard to describe because it's like you have to read it. I don't want to spoil things. I will say this, it's very well written. As I said before, it had 91 chapters, but because the chapters are so short, it just like moves. The pace is amazing. The characters are really great. I need to go now look up what each person is supposed to look like because I'm really invested in that. And then there are twists and turns. They're curves, right? It's not like a sharp twist and turn. They're curves. And the people you think could have done it or have it out against Avery are not the people. And there are setups in reading that make you lean one way or the other. So you're kind of in a mind game too. And then towards the end, it got really like edge of your seat as I try to figure out why she was chosen to get this inheritance. At the end of the day, spoiler, she was used And it really had nothing to do with her. She is being used to bring the family together, and she's being used to have the family work together to solve a puzzle for their grandpa. So she's not special. She's not the chosen one. She is a pawn in this game. So I'm excited for book 2 because it follows Tobias Hawthorne II, who allegedly passed away. But when Avery saw a picture of what he looked like, she realized that's the man that she plays chess with. And I knew that guy was going to come in somewhere. I actually thought it was going to be the actual Tobias Hawthorne, but it's not. It's the son of Tobias that mysteriously disappeared 20 years ago. So I'm excited. I know that doesn't give you so much to go on, but it is a really good book. I gave it 5 stars. There wasn't a point in it where I feel like I needed to like skim or zoom through pages. It was like everything, like you had to know every piece, you had to piece it together. So very good book. Highly recommend. It did take me 2 days to read it. No, that's a lie. Yesterday was Thursday, sorry, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So it took me about 5 days to read it. But that's okay. It was really good. This book had 370 some pages in it. And I was reading this along with boyfriend lessons. So I loved it. I suggest you get it and then read it so you're ready for the next book to come out. And I love when I can jump into a series. I am a series girl, so I can't wait for this next one to come out. Yay! All right, so important update, Inheritance Games 2 is out in hardcover only. I do want to read the second book. I don't want hardcover. I just want a paperback. So we'll see how long I can hold out. But last night after I finished that book, it's not intense in the way of like scary, but it's just like there's a lot of mental capacity in the game and in the book, which I loved. And I decided to take a break from mental exhaustion. So I picked up a Babysitter's Club on Overdrive. So I mentioned this in my Kindle video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it. But I use Overdrive with the public library, and it helps cut down costs on books, but also they have lots of Babysitter's Club books for free, which is great because I'm just reading them digitally. I have them paperback, but I leave them stored. But the digital copies are free, and on Kindle they're like $3.99. So I'm going to read this one next, Christy and Mr. Mom. It's all about Christy and Watson, and so we'll see. It's book number 81. I do find that I like the later stories as the girl starts to mature a little bit, and I'm not a fan of Christy really, but we'll see how it goes. So that's what I'm up to. Hey guys, welcome to Sunday and the end of my reading vlog for this week. Yesterday I didn't film anything, but I did finish that Babysitter's Club book. It was Christy and Mr. Mom, and it ended up being way more serious than I thought it was. I guess in the book, Watson has a heart attack and has to start managing his workload, and Christy helps out, and everybody figures out as a family, as their blended family, on how they're going to support Watson so he doesn't have to work so much, he's not so stressed out. The B plot in that story is a client, Miss Marshall, who continually kind of takes advantage of the Babysitter's Club by not telling them how many kids are going to be there, only paying for, you know, a certain amount of services, and she's getting more. So it was good, quick as they are. This week I read, I guess that would be 3 books. Inheritance Games, Boyfriend Lessons, and this Babysitter's Club book. Next week is the last week of April. So far I've read 11 books, and my goal is to read only the Julianne Lindsay book next week, and that will wrap up April. So very excited about the progress and all that I've read. It was a great week, so thanks for joining me for another one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Shares, it's a new channel, and we'll see you next week. Bye guys.